Okay, so tonight we are going to talk about the topic: the poor chase comfort, the rich build systems. And tonight I'm going to teach you 5 systems you can build to change your finances. You build systems like the rich, even if your income is small and unpredictable. That's the good thing about system. You don't have to wait until you're a millionaire or a billionaire to start building your system. So I'm going to teach you the 5 systems. It's so simple and easy to begin to implement immediately. Are you ready? Okay, but before we do that, this is a coaching session because I like it to be practical money. I like it to be practical money because motivation is not enough. Motivation is good, but motivation doesn't pay the bills. You need strategy. You need practicality. So follow me very closely and do the coaching exercise I'm going to give you right now. So every one of you, let's start with question number 1. If your money, and I would like you to type it in the comment section, every single person, please participate. This is a podcast, it's a workshop. It's not a talking head something, where you just watch me, because it's much better if we interact on your money. Because I'm forcing you to think about your money. I'm forcing you to rethink your financial life. Because if you keep on looking at your money the way you've been looking at it, you'll continue to get the same results. But things will begin to change. Like the wise man said, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. If you change the way you look at your money will change. So follow me very closely. Question number 1. If your money could talk, what habit will it beg you to stop right now? Everybody to the comment section. If your money could talk, what is one habit your money will beg you to stop doing right now? Everybody, type in the comment section. This is a coaching session, so I expect you to, give me feedback. And from the things that you're responding, I can build a very, very transformational evening for you. Okay, everybody, if your money could talk, what one habit will it beg you to stop right now? Everybody, hello, Epitome 1985. Good evening. You're welcome. Every single person, I encourage you to do this exercise. Type. If your money could talk, what habit will it beg you to stop? Okay. Fumilayo says impulse buying. Hello, Festus. Good evening. Okay. Ria Chidima says it will beg me to stop mismanaging it. Okay. Everybody, keep going. Shina also says impulse buying. You see, what I'm doing is to force you to think about your money, because most of us don't actually think about our money. We don't spend enough time thinking about our finances. And that's why we're getting the results we're getting. We are now at the end of the year, and many people are looking back wondering, where did all these previous 11 months go? And you look behind you and it's like there's nothing to show for it. It's because people find it difficult, and that's my job as a coach, to force you to think about things that you typically won't do. To force you to think, to go into that part of your mind, that part of your brain, and bring out transformation there. Okay? Epitome says, my money will beg me to stop planning on what to spend it on. Okay? Grace says, it will beg me to stop buying unnecessary things. Very good. Let's go to the next question. And this is very important. The next coaching question. Everybody should participate in this. And even those of you watching the replay on YouTube. So, second question. What were your top 3 expenses in the last 7 days? They're very easy, very simple. But follow me because you see how powerful this exercise is. What were your top 3 expenses? What were the top 3 things that swallowed your money in the past 7 days? Just think about all the major expenses you've made. What were the top 3 things that took your money, your major spend? Top 3 in the past 7 days, the past 1 week. Everybody? Okay, I still have answers to the first one coming. Rolanda says, my money will beg me to strictly stick to my budgets and have a cushion for miscellaneous spends. Okay. First, we say it will beg me to stop living fake. Dealing says sending Africa to solve problems. Okay, I'm not sure I understand that, Dealing. I think you can expand a little bit further on that. Okay. Oh, you probably mean sending money to Africa to solve problems. Maybe that's what you mean. Okay. All right. What were the top 3 things, your top 3 expenses in the last 7 days, in the last 1 week? Okay. So I have Ria Chidema says data, food, and paid course. Fantastic. Okay. Trader Fufa says mortgage, insurance, and credit cards. Keep all these expenses in mind because it's a follow-up coaching question. It's a follow-up coaching question I'm going to give you to help you to develop clarity around your money. Okay, keep it coming because everybody should know. These are the things you should actually know at the top of your finger, tip of your finger. What were the top 3 expenses in the last 7 days? And if you don't know, then that's a typical challenge. That's a typical case of what I'm talking about. Many of us do not monitor our finances. We do not give our finances attention because you should know. You should know, like in the last 7 days, the top 3 things you spent your money on. Okay, we have Marshall Belief says mobile data and food. Okay, let's get a couple more. Keep it coming. What were your top 3 expenses in the last 1 week? So I can see data, food, and paid course. I can see mortgage, insurance, and credit card. I can see mobile data and food. Okay, here is the follow-up question. So I want you to categorize these 3 things that you have labeled, these 3 things that you have spent your money on most in the past 7 days. I need you to categorize them as whether it was for comfort or whether it was for growth. So you see how powerful it is. All right, I'm still getting some more top 3 expenses. Someone is saying data and school fees. Let me see. Shino says data, food, and giving out to people. Okay, Niger Sweet said flight tickets within Nigeria, buying stocks, and extended family. Categorize each of these 3 things as comfort. Was it a comfort spending, comfort or entertainment, or was it a growth spend? Categorize them. So in each of those 3 things, I want you to label each of them. Were they comfort spending or entertainment spending, or were they growth oriented? Were they things that grew your money, either directly or indirectly? Categorize that quickly. So comfort or growth. So for your 3, you can say comfort, growth, or growth, comfort, growth, depending on what you put out there. Niger Sweet, okay, I've read that. Flight tickets within Nigeria, buying stocks, and then extended family. So that's amazing. So I can see buying stocks is definitely growth. Okay. And so watch one, this says rent. Okay, that's growth. School fees, growth. Groceries, growth. Okay. Yeah. I can agree. I can take that for groceries. Yeah, because groceries wouldn't actually be growth. It wouldn't be comfort. I think it's survival because you need to spend money on food, to support yourself. Okay, Festus says junk food, comfort, data and stocks, growth. Fantastic. So Naija Sweet says comfort, growth, and comfort. Okay. Now, so you can begin to see from your answers whether your spending pattern tends toward comfort and entertainment, or whether it tends towards growth. And when you put it side by side, our conversation today, the topic is the poor chase comfort, the rich build systems. Now, so let me say straight away that the biggest threat I have seen across Africa, and even in my trips in the United States and Europe, because human beings are the same, but it looks to me like some cultures tend to be a bit more aware of growth than others. There's a lot of saving in Asia. Some countries in Asia save as much as 60% of their income. But you come to some parts of Africa, some places I've been to, and saving money is zero. Saving money is zero. And by the time you finish with me, you will understand that saving money has nothing to do with the amount of money that you earn as salary. But it has a lot to do with the habit. So you can immediately tell from your spending pattern whether you are chasing comfort, or whether you are pursuing growth, whether you are building systems. So the biggest threat to your financial destiny is comfort and entertainment. When money enters the hand of 90% of the people, especially in our culture, the first thing on their mind, I have seen it again and again, the first thing on their mind, maybe they just get some money, some bulk money. First thing on their mind, is buy a bigger TV, subscribe to Netflix, or just enjoyment. They throw a party. They go to nightclubs, spend so much money. It's common. I see this around me all the time. And then a friend was telling me about a relation, who is, something is a little, is rebellious, a rebellious young person in the family who took a family car and sold it without telling the owners. I think it's his uncle's car or something like that, without telling the owner. And then what did he do with the money? He immediately went and rented a room in a hotel for 3 weeks with that bulk money. So it's not even enough that you stole the money, but you didn't do anything useful with it. You pursued comfort. And that is a pattern I have observed with poor people, or people who have a poverty mentality. They prioritize entertainment and they prioritize comfort. Bigger television, bigger houses, bigger cars that they can't afford. So the poor people chase comfort, but the rich people build systems. And then you see, the interesting thing is that systems are built in silence. That's why you will never see many wealthy people on social media showing you their cars, showing you the expensive food that they are eating in an expensive restaurant somewhere in Sweden or Switzerland. That's why you don't see them showing you, all those things in their private jets and all that, because the wealthy people build quietly. They are building systems. Systems don't make noise. But comfort makes so much noise. Entertainment makes so much noise. So today I'm going to show you exactly how comfort destroys potential and how systems save your life. And the reason I'm going to spend some time to talk about the problem, this major problem of pursuing comfort and entertainment, is that I want you to, as you listen to me, to measure, okay? Bring yourself, give yourself some authenticity. Give yourself some vulnerability, because making money involves a lot of vulnerability. It involves being vulnerable. And so if you've not brought yourself to a situation where You can look at yourself in the mirror. You can look at your financial life in the mirror and then get some serious slap in the face, reality slap about what it is. Then you're not ready. Because like I tell my corporate clients, I do transformation for businesses. And I always tell them that the first step to transformation is telling the truth. And it is the same thing in every domain, whether we are talking about your personal finance or we're talking about your company, transforming your company, or transforming your personal life. It always begins by telling yourself the truth, acknowledging that this is the reality, your current reality, where you find yourself in. Okay, so let's talk about the real problem. The first is that comfort has become a lifestyle. Comfort has become a lifestyle. And then when I'm talking about comfort, I don't just mean entertainment. I'm also talking about people who have settled. It's very common with people who work with MNCs, multinational corporations. Because how do I know? It happened to me. It happened to me. You know, salary was extremely comfortable. Everything you needed as a Shell staff, the company gave you. Everything you needed as Chevron staff, the company provided for you. They not only paid your rent, they bought generators. I remember in those days, they bought generators, 40 kVA generators, for us at certain level. They bought 40 kVA generator, for us. So that while the rest of the country didn't have power, the company was buying power. And then in my own case, because of my level, I had a car, a company car. And they were paying me for fuel every single month. There was a fuel allowance for my car. So it was very comfortable. And anytime that I needed to travel or my family needed to travel, they came to the house and picked us with this spy police vehicle and lights flashing, taking us to the airport. It was very comfortable. It was very comfortable. And that's the problem. That's the big problem. So I'm also talking about people who have settled in their comfort zone. So not just people spending money on entertainment. Okay, so my job with Shell was great, but I left broke. I left broke because of this thing we are talking about. Now, so let me also say, one other experience I had working for Shell was that, all these comforts that they gave, all these perks, I remember in those days, of course, you fly business class in every single trip. Every single trip with the company is business class. And then I remember a couple of times I added my own funds and upgraded to first class just to enjoy, to see what first class looked like. But it was business class. So they will not only pick me from my house, from where I was living, the company vehicle with police escort will come pick me as Shell staff to the company. I don't know whether they still do that today, but in those days, as I'm getting to the airport, we had Shell protocol officers. And if you're old enough, you would have been seeing, I think I still see them, at the airport. You will see, people with Shell, wearing Shell logo, Shell jacket or Chevron jacket and things like that. So they would already be there because they knew I was coming. They knew the car was coming. And as soon as I came, they opened the vehicle, took my luggage, went and got the boarding pass for me while I waited somewhere. I didn't lift a finger. They were the ones who booked the flight. They were the ones who booked for the limo that was going to pick me up at the airport in Netherlands or in Houston or in San Ramon, Los Angeles, when I was with Chevron, and then used to go to San Ramon in California, where Chevron's office was at the time. Now, they did all these things for me. And I remember, as I'll be entering the plane, this air hostess says, come. Of course, because you're a business class passenger, they already know your name and your seat. As I'm coming in, they will say, oh, Mr. Obo, yeah, welcome. Can we have your jacket? Can I have your jacket? Yeah, I say, sure. And then she would take the jacket and then hang somewhere, for me. And then as I'm sitting, before I sat down, champagne or water, all those things, all those fantastic perks in those days. And I remember I used to fly the defunct Swiss airline, beautiful flights, KLM of those days, British Airways. And I was spoiled. But guess what? When I now left Shell, and then I was traveling, the first time, of course, I couldn't buy business class. I couldn't afford those things, for myself. I think that day, whether I flew coach or something. And then as I was entering the same plane, the same airline, the same air hostesses, nobody came to take my jacket. Nobody came to offer me juice, water, or champagne. Nobody. And I said, this life. That was when I came to the conclusion that if you're working for an organization, especially a multinational organization or a tech company, all these very, very wealthy companies that pay you well and give you the kind of perks I'm describing, any of those things that they give you that you can't get for yourself, that you can't buy for yourself, should you stop working with them? It's fake life. It's fake. So I was enjoying it, all those perks, feeling cool, business class here and there. Before, as I'm arriving in the Houston airport, when I was working with Chevron, because they have an office in Houston, another office in San Ramon, California. So as I was arriving in Houston, on one occasion, there was this big limo, long limo, my first time in limo, that they sent to come and pick me. In fact, that was Los Angeles, riding from Los Angeles to San Ramon. It was my first time, so I didn't even know all the privileges. So the guy was showing me, okay, if you want to play this music, or you want to do this, or you want to drink something, and he was pressing something amazing, significant. But you see, when I now got out and stayed on my own, I couldn't afford those things. I couldn't afford limo. I couldn't afford limo. Therefore, it was fake life. So you see what I'm talking about? Comfort. Now, so problem number one, comfort blinds you. You see, it blinded me. And then there's another thing about comfort. Solomon said, a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of their hands, and then poverty comes. Even if you have worked with a multinational company, because comfort is very subtle. Comfort will be whispering, oh, you're fine, you've made it, you've arrived, you're doing enough, you're better than others, share stuff. Why stress yourself? And that is the beginning of decline. Comfort is dangerous. And so most people don't just fail financially. They don't feel like in one fell swoop. They ease into stagnation. That's the problem with comfort. Comfort will make you ease into stagnation. In fact, in the companies I worked with, I found people who had been there, like when I joined Chevron, there were people who had been there for 20 years before me. And then because in those days, they had this system where if you were an HND holder, there was a cap, no matter how good you were. In Chevron, there was a cap, there was a level you could never cross. If you were, I forget what they called them in those days, whether it's technical or something, I forget what they call if it's a Chevron stuff, you can tell me in the comment section. It's been a long time ago. And then, but if you're a graduate and then you come in at a certain job level, there's no ceiling. But these other people had ceiling. And so even though they were better than the fresh graduates that were coming, but they had a ceiling. And they just stayed because it was comfortable. They were working with Chevron. So even though there was a cap, there was a ceiling to how much they could earn, they just settled. That's the problem with comfort. It easily eases you into stagnation. And there are some of you who are listening to me who have stagnated because you've been in a very comfortable place for a long time. For 5, 10, 15 years, you stagnated. Okay. So the second thing is what Socrates said, that the unexamined life is not worth living. And so you can put it in, you don't examine your financial life, so that's a problem, with comfort. So the unexamined life keeps you trapped, and people avoid the truth about their finances. In fact, there are certain things people avoid the truth about. Because I've worked with literally thousands, tens of thousands of people. I was on television, live television, for 5 years. I ran a live coaching television session for 5 years. So I heard all kinds of stories. I met all kinds of human beings. I heard all kinds of problems that I never would have imagined existed if I wasn't in the public, if I wasn't in the media, if I wasn't on television, And one of the things, so there are a couple of things I found that people avoid. They would rather not know, for instance, the state of their health. I've never understood it. So I remember when I was working with one of those companies, it was in those early days when HIV/AIDS now came newly and started ravaging the populations. This company that I worked in came, in those days when HIV/AIDS came out newly, the test was very, very expensive. You had to be a wealthy person to go find out. So it's not like today that that the tests are very accessible. They just look at your blood and they can do HIV test very easily in any medical laboratory, medical lab, so you could do that. But in those days, it was so expensive and it was out of the reach of ordinary people. But the company now made it possible for people to go find out, in the clinic, to go find out, their HIV status. Do you know that every day the matron would come to the restaurant? What did they call our restaurant in those days? Refectory, restaurant. Okay, where we ate, where we had lunch, in the office. She will come, make presentations. She will come when the company was having a general meeting. She will come, talk at the townhouse, tell everybody, go find out. Cafeteria, thank you very much. That's what it was. So go find out your HIV status. Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 to 9 months, can you guess? Just type in the comment section. Guess the percentage of the company that went to find out their HIV status. It was free. And it was deadly in those days, because you see the way they hyped HIV in those days. It was deadly. It was almost like a death sentence. Once you had HIV in those days, they started preparing your grave. Okay, so I'm seeing 20%. I'm seeing 25%. Keep guessing. Guess how many? How many people out of the thousands of people working in the organization went for that HIV test? 6%. 6%. So 94% of the people would rather not know. 94% of people would rather not know. Because they say ignorance is bliss. And it's like we equate knowing to automatically having it. And do you know, we carry that same attitude of avoidance into our finances. So we avoid looking at how much we owe. We avoid seeing how much money we are wasting on a daily basis. We avoid seeing that. We avoid calculating how far behind we are, financially speaking. Many of us have not taken time to sit down and look at how have I fared in terms of my net worth from the beginning of the year till today. We avoid even looking at our bank statements. We avoid learning skills that will help us stretch. So that is one thing that it does. It makes you silence your finances. And then while you are trying to silence your finances, you become stuck. Okay. So, number 3, your habits are programmed for comfort, not excellence. Aristotle said that we are what we repeatedly do. So if your daily habits are comfortable, your financial results will be predictable and disappointing. Okay, so comfort habits are things like spending impulsively, all those things you told me at the beginning when I asked you, when we went through the first coaching question, spending impulsively, living month to month. These are comfort habits, procrastinating financial decisions. So in pidgin, English, for some of you who understand pidgin English, we I've heard people say, "Man no die, man no rotten." So they just live month to month. So it also makes you to avoid the pain, and embrace ease. So if habits don't change, destinies don't change. So number 4, Warren Buffett says you rely on income instead of systems. So that's a problem. That's a big problem. When you rely on income instead of systems. It happened to me. My first time working in SPDC, I had enough money. At that time, there were real estate investing opportunities all over the place in Port Harcourt at the time, where SPDC is or was. I could have bought into real estate. I could have bought plots of land, undeveloped plots of land, at a giveaway. Some of you who are watching from Port Harcourt, if you are old enough, you will confirm what I'm telling you, that sometime in the 90s, in the mid-90s to even late 90s, you could buy certain places around before Obibo and some certain place or going to Eche. You could buy that for 20,000 naira a plot. You could buy for 25,000 naira a plot. I had that money and I had access to that money. But I didn't know anything about real estate investing. I didn't know anything about stocks. I didn't know anything about those things. So the money was just coming and it was going. But do you know today that those same plots of land that I could have bought for 25,000 or 20,000 today, those same plots go for 20 million, 25 million. So imagine just how very wealthy I would have been today if I bought 30 plots in those days and kept. Imagine how wealthy I would have been. But I didn't know because I didn't have a system. So Warren Buffett said, if you don't learn to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. And that is very, very true. So most people depend 100% on a job. If you're that person, just say, that's me. Right now, you're depending 100% on your job. If it's you, say, that's me. And most people don't invest consistently. We're talking about system. Most people don't automate anything. They have no leverage. And they use sweat instead of systems. Because if you don't have systems, you are going to use sweat. And sweat is not sustainable. So today, as a 30-year-old, 35-year-old, you still have some energy. Even as a 40-year-old, you have some energy to run around. But when you start approaching 50, 60, 70, you don't have that energy. So that's why if you don't have systems that make money while you sleep, you're guaranteeing yourself financial struggle. The other thing is that you attract what you are, not what you want. Because success is something that you attract by the person you become. So if you stay comfortable, you will only attract comfort level money. If you stay comfortable, you will only attract comfort level opportunities because you are going to attract just enough to keep you comfortable. Okay. And then you are going to also attract comfort level relationships, because certain relationships, if you want to make uncomfortable money, you are going to go into uncomfortable relationships. You are going to learn how to be patient with customers. You are going to learn to pay for mastermind. I remember paying $5,000 of those days to go to Celebration, Florida, to meet with Dean Jackson's mastermind. Dean Jackson is referred as the Buddha, the marketing Buddha. You know, he was the one that developed the squeeze page. This, you know, when internet came out newly, like in mid 1990s. So I paid to go there. That's an expensive relationship. Okay, and I have his contact today. It's an expensive relationship. Okay, so now, if you stay comfortable, you can never rise above your system. Okay, so this next part is going to be uncomfortable, but stay with me. Number one, comfort creates a fake feeling of progress. Comfort creates a fake feeling of progress. It gives you a false sense of, I'm doing okay. Like the story I already told you. My income is not bad. At least I'm able to pay my bills. I can pay the children's school fees. I can pay my rent without hassles. You know, it doesn't matter. I have only small savings. You know, very dangerous. But if you look deeper, you will see that your savings rate is low. You will see that your investments are inconsistent. You will see that your income has not grown in years. You will also notice that your skills are flat. The same thing you've been doing, you know, 5 years ago. And you will see that your dreams are shrinking to match your salary. So comfort quietly lowers your ambitions. That is a problem. And you need ambition. You need healthy ambition to move forward with your life. You need healthy ambition, you know, that allows you to say, okay, this is January, this is December. My net worth is $50,000. By the end of the next 12 months, I want to grow my net worth to $500,000. It takes ambition to be able to do that. But comfort kills your ambition. It lowers it. Secondly, comfort makes you fear discomfort, of course. So the poor chase comfort because they are terrified of discomfort. Let me say at this stage, you know, I just made a post this evening before we started. My friends, the primary purpose of money is not entertainment, it's not comfort, it's not pleasure. If you don't get that wired into your mind, and especially I see someone who says he's in his 20s, he's 23 here. If you don't learn it early, you're going to learn it late, and it's going to be very difficult. The primary purpose of money is not pleasure. It's not comfort. So that's why if you don't have that mindset, then when money comes, you are going to be terrified to let it go into investing. You know, you would want to, you know, spend it all to feel good and to look good. And for the flex culture of social media. Okay, so discomfort, on the other hand, means learning new skills. And sometimes, you know, paying for it. Going online, finding a course and paying for it. But it's not comfortable spending your money to pay for a course or to pay for mentorship. It's not comfortable. All the times I've paid for mentorship, I've paid for coaching, it was never comfortable. I paid a woman, Jennifer Dip Stratton, that's her name, based in the US. I paid her $500 a session of 1 hour each. I paid for 8 sessions. Do you know all she taught me? How to communicate my value. That's what I paid $4,000 for. You can convert that in your own currency. Who told you it was comfortable? Because there's so much I could have done with $4,000. Then I signed up for Billie Jean is Marketing's $10,000 marketing program. Make that conversion. It's not comfortable. Because by the time you convert it, like those of you in Nigeria, you convert it and then it's like 15 million naira. You're just giving 15 million naira. And it's not to travel. It's to you join the Zoom call. It's group coaching. You join the group, the Zoom call, and they group something. It's not even that you're traveling. It's not one-on-one. It was not comfortable. You know? So that's why the poor chase comfort. They just stay with comfort because it's not comfortable. You know, to pay that amount of money. I run a financial fitness challenge, which is literally like a free thing, making myself available, you know, for people who can't afford me one-on-one. And then for a couple of people, it's not comfortable, you know, to pay for it. It's just $100 or $125 or 125,000 naira in Nigeria. Of course, if you want to join, you can see the details in the comment section. So discomfort means learning new skills. It means facing the truth. It means investing consistently. It means building a side income, a side hustle. It means tracking everything. See, but here's the irony. The pain of comfort becomes greater than the pain of growth, eventually. Okay? The only difference is that the growth pain pays you back. But the pain of comfort will eventually remain with you, you know, forever. Now, the third thing is that comfort destroys potential. More people die in comfort than in risk. You know, I was meditating on this today. Comfort kills more people than risk. Sometimes you see this black ants on sugar. You know, there's sugar somewhere and then you see them there. And they're literally stuck licking sugar until you wash them away or birds come and pick them. That's what happens. That's what comfort is like, the sugar that you are addicted on. You know, financial sugar you are addicted on, and you don't see that is destroying your creativity, is destroying your hunger and ambition, is destroying your curiosity. Comfort is destroying your discipline. See, if you're chasing comfort, you are going to be so indisciplined. Is it undisciplined? Indisciplined with time. With the use of your time. Anybody can just come at any time and say, guy, oh, let's go to the movies. And then you go to the movies. But you can't just come and tell me, let's go to the movies. Because at that time, I'm writing a blog. Or I'm preparing this, what I'm doing with you now. Or I'm looking at the stock market, seeing what's going on in the stock market or in the crypto market. I'm learning, I'm doing that. Or I want to go and exercise to keep healthy. So you can't just come in and badger in on my time and say, oh, let's go and have a drink somewhere. It's not possible. But it happens to you because you're disposed to comfort. So comfort is the graveyard where most destinies are buried while the body is still alive. Number 4, comfort turns you into a slave of time. When you rely solely on your labor, you stop earning. If you stop working, and then you age, your body weakens, your income peaks, and then your time becomes limited. So comfort today is slavery tomorrow. You know, a man was working with his children somewhere and then saw this old man working as a gatekeeper. You know, in Nigeria they call them gate men or they call them megad. This man should be in his mid to late 70s. And the children were asking them, their daddy, what did this man do? It's also in my book. So what did this man do when he was 25? Such that at 75, he's doing this minimum wage thing to survive. And then we were asking, what about children and grandchildren? And every day you see the man, weak, frail. That man should be close to 80. So the question is, what did he do when he was 30? When he was 35? And if you go and check, this guy was a big boy at the time. He was a guy man, like we say in this part of the world at the time. Wearing good clothes, pursuing babes, hanging out with the boys. And at 78, he's doing the lowest possible job anybody could do, in this part of the world. So comfort today, slavery tomorrow. Fifthly, comfort makes you poorer over time. Makes you poorer because you think you are good and your salary is okay now, but inflation is eating you up and bills are draining you. And then if you are parents of children who are still in primary school, by the time they now get into secondary and get into the university, you are going to see that your responsibilities will multiply and that emergencies will shock you. Emergencies will shock you. You could just hear, and then some of you who are parents know that these things happen. You just hear, oh, come, the school calls you. Come, your daughter fell sick. Your daughter is terribly sick right now. And then you must come and do. You have to fly. That's going to cost you money. You've got to fly. You've got to go there and take her and rush her to a specialist hospital. You didn't plan that by the time that she was going back to school. You didn't plan that she was going to fall sick. So you see, comfort makes you poorer over time. And then you find yourself eventually suffering what I call financial suffocation. Okay. So the poor stay poor because they choose today's comfort over tomorrow's freedom. And the rich stay rich because they choose today's systems over feelings. So now, let's talk about how to escape this situation. All right? And then you are going to escape with systems. So I'm going to give you what I call the wealth Bible formula. And I'll teach you 5 systems now that you can build. The 5 systems that rich people build that you can build. Okay, so I can see a couple of aha moments. Very good. Okay, so don't wait till the end to write your aha moment. Fantastic. Okay, good. Okay, so system number 1. System number 1 is the system of awareness. Awareness. So for all my life, I was never financially literate. Throughout the time I was working, doing the 9 to 5, I thought that all that made for success was, I finished the university, I came up with second class upper division, like they called it in those days. I don't know whether they still classify that thing. Brilliant. I had, a very excellent academic career, and came out, and then fortunately got some excellent job, earning lots of money. But that was as much as I knew. Do you know what happened? It was not until this must have been 2003. By this time, I was already, how old? 2003. I was already in my. How old was I? I was already advanced before I got awareness. And you know what gave me awareness? A book written by Robert Kiyosaki that I read, titled Rich Dad Poor Dad. That book changed everything for me. Because for the first time, I started seeing things, becoming aware. He said, the poor work for money, but the rich make money work for them. My goodness. That book, I don't know how many times I read it, but that book set me free. It just gave me awareness. The poor work for money, but the rich make money work for them. Even that alone totally rewired my mind. Okay, so awareness is important because you cannot escape a financial life that you refuse to look at. So you need some awareness rituals. We are talking about a system. A weekly awareness ritual could be something at least look at your account. I look at my portfolio. I look at my crypto portfolio. Even though in recent times I try not to look at it very often because it's maroon red, everywhere. But that's what it is. But at least you know what's going on. You track every expense. Thank God that we have apps today, money apps that actually help you do that and even help you to analyze your spending patterns. You ask, where did comfort win this week? And what discomfort will I embrace next week? So awareness is the enemy of stagnation. So you have to develop the system of awareness, the system of constant education, the system like what I do here. Like what I do. This is a system for you that you will show up every night. It's free. It's free. Look at what I'm giving you for free. That's what you're going to pay millions for other people, who have my kind of qualification as a coach to give you. And all you needed to do is just show up. It's a system, for you of awareness. Okay? Now, and then there's no way, because a lot of you have been sending me messages telling me that since you started following my channel, that you have started seeing money differently. And somebody in the Financial Fitness Challenge group, sent a message the other day or posted in the group, how he went from nothing to building a portfolio in the stock market of 20 million. Because he's following my channel and because he is also part of the Financial Fitness Challenge. So you need a system of awareness. System number 2 is habit. Wealth is a habit. Wealth is a system of habits. Aristotle will say that your systems are stronger than your willpower. So you need to create 3 daily habits. Habit number 1, learn something money related every day. 10 minutes, you can. There are so many YouTube videos. Amazing YouTube videos. My own, other people's own. That you can listen to even 10 minutes or 15 minutes every day. And I have these amazing books behind me. They are not decorations. I read them and I selected them individually. Most of these books you see here, I bought them in used bookstores in the United States, because every time I land in America, whatever city I find myself, the first thing I look for used bookstores around me. And that's why I spend time. I will spend time, and my wife will tell you, and my children. So once they take me to a used bookstore, everything else, just stops for the day, because I see books. I love books. Books have helped me. Most of these books were in used bookstores. And again, why I buy from used bookstores, not only are they usually cheaper than if I buy them in Amazon, but I find rare books. I find many rare books there. I find rare jewels. So read. Throw away your television for 1 month, for 90 days. Read. Keep your phone somewhere. Read. That's number 1. 3 daily habits. Learn. Daily habit number 2, build something. Create an offer, a product. Do content, useful content. Stop just being a consumer of Facebook posts and TikTok posts. Post something, offer something, sell something. Today, you find a lot of young people doing amazing things on TikTok. They buy other things from Temu. They buy other things from Temu and then sell them using their Instagram, using Facebook ads. Sell something every day. Build something. In fact, I even say sell something every day. Okay. And then in the financial fitness challenge, one of the modules is everyday money, how to earn money every day. That is one of the most changing things. Changing things you can. That's one of the most um, habits or something that can happen in your finances that will change your life. Permanently. Earning money every day, no matter how small. And then daily habit number 3: invest something small, no matter how small. There have been days I bought stocks for 700 naira because that's what I had. And thank God that if you have $5, you can buy stocks from the US stock market. If you have $10, you can buy stocks. If you have 1,000 naira, 1,500, you can buy stocks. See that money that you just want to throw away ordering beer. I don't know how much a bottle of beer costs now, but I know poor people, not far from here, who tell me that they drink 5 to 7 bottles of beer a day. I don't even know how much Coke is now, a bottle of Coke, because I don't drink. But do you know that bottle of Coke, I don't know how much it is now, 500, a can of Coke or something, or beer. Beer is probably like 800 naira. But do you know 800, 1,000? Those beer drinkers there, how much is beer? But do you know that bottle of beer or that bottle of Coke or something, I can see that it's 500 here. Do you know how many shares? 1K, that one bottle of beer. Do you know how many shares of GT Bank it will get for you? Do you know even how many shares or fraction of shares of Apple, of Uber, of Nvidia it will get for you if you change it? And that 1K that you would have drunk, just drink, and then it ends. If you invest it today, that 1K can actually buy you not one bottle of beer. If you want to drink beer, it can actually buy you 12 cartons of beer. So these are daily habits, okay? So this is the system of habits. Learn something money related every day, build something every day, invest something every day, no matter how small. Invest in the market. I invested today. I will invest tomorrow. I don't wait for big money. Okay, if I have 25K, I transfer to my stockbroking account. If I get 10K, I transfer, because there's always something I can buy with 10K, Okay, system number 3, the system of income. To escape poverty, you must build a separate income system. So you can choose one. Selling is the richest skill on earth. You can sell your way out of poverty. You can sell your way out of poverty. Consulting, digital products, trading for cash flow, freelancing, real estate, skill-based services. Build a simple system. A prospect, who are the people you can likely sell your service to? You build a pitch, you build a delivery mechanism, and then you repeat. So income is not accidental. Income is not a miracle. It is constructed. So you construct your income. You can engineer your income. Income is not a miracle. It's not this thing that your prophets ask you to raise your phone and then they will prophesy money into. Stop that nonsense. Construct your income. Construct a system to get income. Okay. Now, system number 4 is a system of investing. System number 4 is a system of investing. So this is where your freedom actually begins. Nobody can talk about financial freedom. Nobody can talk about personal finance. Nobody can talk about personal growth without talking about investing. Okay, so, and then Warren Buffett has some rule. He says, automate your investment, start small, don't stop. You can invest in stocks, and then if you're a little bit adventurous like myself, you can do crypto and actually encourage crypto. But you see, Um, Crypto is not what you do with your school fees or with your rent money, but you want to grow your income to a place where you are comfortable enough to throw in $1,000, $5,000, $10,000. If you lose it, it doesn't matter. That's the kind of money that you should bring into crypto, because the risk is great, but the upside is insane. It's insane. It can accelerate your wealth, but it can also accelerate your downfall. So invest in stocks, crypto, real estate, index funds, invest in a business. But the thing is that you want to invest weekly. We are talking about system. Invest weekly. Okay? And then automate as much of it as you can, because systems are greater than emotions. Systems are bigger than emotions. Okay. System number 5 is the system of leverage. So now you already have some income going, you already have some investing going. The next thing is leverage. The next thing is leverage. So leverage is what makes the rich people unstoppable. Okay? Leverage tools like automation, AI, teams, systems, capital, these are all leverages. Compounding, platforms. Now, a lot of people are searching how to make money online. Technology and the internet and the financial markets have democratized wealth. There's no excuse anymore, because you can make money online. You can make money online. And a lot of people complain, oh, my salary is too small. I can't invest, because by the time I finish buying groceries, buying food, I can't invest anymore. Make more money. Make more money using these leverage tools. Okay, so if you are doing everything manually, you're not building wealth. You're just surviving. So find ways to automate. Even compounding is automation. So right now in the financial fitness group, yesterday I published a recommendation of 10 stocks in the market right now. Because if you look at the Nigerian stock market, for instance, which is one of the fastest growing stock markets in the world today, has a cycle. It has a pattern. I've seen it year after year, that in November, December, for some reason, the market is red. And you have incredible opportunities to buy into very good companies, well-performing companies at very huge discount. The prices I'm seeing are insane. In some of those stocks I recommended. And then the pattern is usually that by January, when the full year results begin to come, January, February, it's not unusual for some of the stocks you bought in November to triple, to quadruple in price by January, February. Let me give you some examples. I bought Presco, 450 naira per share last year in November. Today, Presco is 1,450 in only 1 year. The same thing is happening now. There are stocks which I'm seeing are just incredibly low, below 5 naira, below 4 naira, that by February, these stocks you're seeing below 4 naira today, by February, I do not know why it's like that, but okay, well, of course, human emotions and all that. These stocks are seeing at 4 naira. It's not unlikely that you see them at 12 naira, 15 naira, 20 naira. So, compounding is leverage. And it's even better when you leave that investment for a long period. You leave it for a long period and let it compound, and it's a system. Okay, so let me leave you with this again. The poor chase comfort, the rich build systems. 1, gives you a good today, that comfort. The other gives you a great forever. Comfort feels good now. Systems feel good forever. Choose systems, choose discipline, choose transformation, and then watch your finances change. These things are not rocket science, making money, becoming rich, becoming wealthy is not rocket science. It's not rocket science. It takes these strategies like what I've shown you tonight with patience. With patience. Don't try to get rich quick. You will destroy everything. But just follow what you've learned tonight. Build these 5 systems and follow patiently. You will be amazed what would happen to your life in general and then to your finances in particular in the next 2 to 5 years. Okay, did you get value today? Did you get value today? What were your aha moments today? Okay, and I'll read a couple of the questions here to see if there are questions. Chukwemaka says, how do I purchase the stocks? Open your stockbroking account. Okay, open stockbroking account. Which stocks? Yeah, those recommendations are in the Financial Fitness Mentorship Group. Which broker are you using? There is a list of, if you go online and type licensed brokers in the NGX, you'll see all the licensed brokers. Never open your account with a broker that is not licensed. You'll be risking your money. So that list is online with their contacts and their websites. Just type licensed stockbrokers in Nigeria, you will get them. J. Wolf, he said, if you want money in investments, it comes with a risk of losing everything. Of course. Samson says, I haven't done stocks before. How can I start? Please. I have a full playlist on my channel. Just type stock market investing in my channel. Go to my channel, search for stock market. So there are a couple of videos, maybe up to 20 videos on stock market, how to invest. Okay, I also have a book, how to invest. I'm going to put the link in the comment section, how to invest and earn in the stock market. So it takes you there little by little. Bad Coder says, can we use bamboo? Yes, you can. I only use bamboo for US stocks, but for Nigerian stocks, it's too expensive to use bamboo because you're going to be paying a lot of commissions. Okay. Well, Tuka says, too much value. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Festus says, automate your investment. Start small. Don't stop. That's your aha moment. Leverage compounding. Okay. Very good. And then Samson says, stock market investing. Your aha moment. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been wonderful having you with me this evening. So, whatever happens, keep showing up because you never know what's coming your way next. I will see you at exactly the same time tomorrow. Make sure you don't miss it for anything. And you have a good evening. Bye for now.